In this video, we're just going to talk about what happens when you negate the conditional statement. What is the opposite? And if I were in class, I would be putting air quotes on opposite because that's a loosely defined term. But what is the opposite of P implying Q? And it turns out that it's not a very trivial answer. The negation of a conditional statement, or P implies Q, is actually going to be P. The negation of P implies Q is going to be P and not Q. And let's build the truth table for P and not Q to see why this is true. So I see if I'm building the truth table for P and not Q, I'm building towards this. I have P, I have Q. They're always given, but the first thing I need is not Q. And not Q is going to be the opposite of whatever is Q. So Q is true here, so it's going to be false here, false here, and true here. So now when we say P and not Q, we want to know when is it that we have P being true and also not Q being true. Everywhere else, we're going to get a false. So for example, we have a false in not Q right away. So we get a false there. But then we have true, true, so this is going to be true. And then we have false, so it's going to be false. And then we have another false, so this is going to be false. And to remind you, I'll bring down P implies Q. P conditioned on Q is going to be true, false, true, true. And we see, and then we see that these are all opposites. We have the exact opposite, so the negation is true. So if we want to negate the statement P implies Q, we use P and not Q. So something that I think makes a lot of this easier is a word example. So let's use a sentence example, put it into symbolic logic, then negate it, and then figure out what we have. So in order to negate this, the first thing we need to remember is if we have P implies Q, our negation is going to be P and not Q. That's what we're going to use. This is negation. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is turn our sentence into symbolic logic. We have too much homework is given. It's an easy P. P equals too much homework is given. And then we have a Q, a class should not be taken. Okay, so we have a not. So Q, remember, we never want our simple statements to have any negatives in them. And this does, so we're going to say Q is a class should be taken. A class should be taken. And now that I have that, we can build our current sentence. I'll say that our current sentence is the one in green, or sentence 1. And sentence 1 is going to be P, if too much homework is given, implies a class should not be taken, so not Q. So we have P implies not Q. And what we want to do is we want to take this and we want to transform it into its negation. We want to negate it. Well, the negation of P implies Q is just where we switch this sign to an and sign, and then we include a negative or a negation or a not. So we'll do the same thing here. This is going to go to P and not Q. And we remember from previous slides, from previous classes, that this is the same as P and Q, because the not cancels out. And so what we're left with is P and Q. Well, P is too much homework is given. So we have the opposite, or the negation of too much homework is, if too much homework is given, a class should not be taken. The negation is too much homework is given. And the class should be taken. Which you can kind of see is pretty much the opposite. It sounds like it would be the negation of our given sentence. But you're never really sure unless you work through the math, which we did here. So we know that the negation of if too much homework is given, a class should not be taken is too much homework is given and the class should be taken. And that is negating a conditional statement.